Good afternoon, everyone. Um, I need to make this video. In this, I had a dream on Sunday. I felt like the Lord told me I was slacking. There was a couple meanings to that dream, but He's given me grace to do it. I hate to make videos when I don't have the opportunity to check and reply to comments because you guys leave some comments in there that are very helpful a lot of times, and I just don't like to ignore people's comments. I've responded to some. There's some others I just want to look at that I haven't even looked at, but I want to get to them. But I feel like the Lord is telling me to pick this out. Sunday, I had this dream. It was busting my brain. I couldn't find a way to articulate it until I talked to Sherry last night, and she helped me out, and she's given me some insight to what this dream may mean. And I can agree. Um, Before I start you to start to tell you this dream, also, I did have a rapture dream. I say about a week ago, and it was a friend and I. We were sitting at the foot of the bed. We weren't discussing anything. We were just sitting there. The bed was made. Um, and all of a sudden, I just felt myself and that person start to raise up off the bed. And in my mind, in the dream or vision, I started thinking, oh my gosh, why are we just lifting up off the bed? Why are we lifting up into the air? And that's when the dream or vision ended. It just, I didn't make a video because I felt like it was more um, an answer to a question about whether or not this person was saved, which I believe they were. They are, but they're just a babe. And but there was something else significant in that dream that makes me think that the rapture is going to take place sooner than later. Okay? Um, so the dream I had Sunday, like I said, it busted my brain for what is this today? Thursday. What's that day? Today's the 21st. Sunday was, or Saturday night was the 16th. I woke up from it on the 17th February. The dream was, and there's some things that has happened since then that gave also helped give me a revelation. The dream was I had apparently missed a week of school, and I got to, for whatever reason, and I walked into the classroom, and the teacher, I can't see the teacher's face, whether it was a female or a male, I don't remember. I just remember the teacher handing me an envelope, not an envelope, a manila folder. And it had a stack of papers that I was, it had the makeup work that I was supposed to be doing. So the teacher didn't say anything. The teacher wasn't like, here's your work. You need to do this. You need to complete this. I just felt that the grace that was extended to me was almost it was so great that I couldn't even say anything about, well, dang, this is a lot of makeup work. Like, do I have to do all that? It's like I couldn't say anything. The teacher was so nice and extended such grace to me to be able to let me finish this makeup work. So I sit down at the desk, and I felt like by the end of the class period, I had finished at least one day's worth of math. This was a math class, you guys. One day's worth of math, um, makeup work, and it was easy. It was easy. It wasn't difficult. I just, whatever it was easy for me to do. So then it was the end of class, and it was like we had some free time, and there were two, I knew these people. It was like they were older, like older than everybody else in the classroom, and they had It was like, when you finish your work, you have free time to do whatever. So it was two men. I didn't see their faces, and they had two desks facing each other, and there was a small gap, and it was kind of like this thing. They were sitting and they were trying to figure out something that would activate. That's the only term I could use to describe this. Activate what move, what move to make. It was like they were trying to figure out what thing would activate this 9 or activate this 11. That's the only term I can use. It was like strategic. It was like playing a game of chess. So one person had a 9 on their paper, and another one had a 11 on their paper, and they were strategically trying to figure out what thing was going to activate or cause them to make a move or whatever for the 9 and for the 11. Okay, I know it sounds strange, but that's the only way I can describe it. So I noticed that piece of paper had come from the direction of the desk, and it was like, this is an Ouroboros, you guys. We have this we got new menus for our job, and this is what is on there. And when I first saw it, it definitely reminded me of the Ouroboros. Snake eating its own tail. I don't care what nobody says. It's an Ouroboros. Maybe when I get to work, I'll use it as a thumbnail, the menu. And I just saw this piece of paper with an Ouroboros just fly from in between the two desks. Like, this thing was dismissed as a tool, if you will, to activate this 9 or 11. And then the dream ended. But I felt like whatever this, the move that would have been made, as if they were playing chess. And I know these two men were like the smartest people in the class. Like, they had finished all their work. They had, they were like the smartest people. They might have even finished their work early. And they were like the two smartest people in this classroom. I couldn't see their faces, but I felt like they were two older people, like two older men. Even felt like they were even out of our age group. So this Ouroboros was dismissed as a factor to this thing here. So what happened in real life was my son's school called me. Well, what happened in real life, I woke up and I was like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to go to church today, which I had already planned to. I go to church every other Sunday, and, it's every other Sunday, and I knew that was my Sunday to go because I am the treasurer for my board, so I do have to be there. But there's a couple Sundays that I can take off that I don't necessarily have to be there, and I have help to fill in. So I knew I was going, and then I thought about some videos that I made a couple of days ago. I was like, yeah, I probably need to make those videos. So I did do that. And then on Monday, my son's school called, and he missed like 7 or 8 assignments. He aced the test, he aced the quiz, but it was the filler work that he didn't do. So the teacher was like, well, he needs to just get it done, do the makeup work. And I didn't extend as much grace as she did, or the teacher in my dream did, okay? Because I feel like you got one job to do, and that's to go to school. He's like one of the smartest kids in the school. I mean, in that she's ever seen in her geometry class, but he just felt like it was unnecessary to do the filler work. I call it filler. So, and then also on Monday, there comes a story out about 9/11 victims no longer being paid. I didn't know they were even being paid, and I wanted to look up the story, but it was on my local news. 9/11 victims no longer being paid. That came out on Monday. Okay, and I still yet to look up the story. And also, there was some type of my cousin put it on Facebook. There was some type of math thing. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Let's say 4 plus 6 equals 10. And then there was a question here. 1 plus 8 equals, and it had A, B, C, or D. And it said only geniuses will figure this out. And the answers, A, B, C, or D, was not 9. Okay, it was not 9. But it's something that they got going around, circulating around. This was blank. But the answers down here was not 9. And it says only geniuses will figure this out. So it makes me think that the grace extended to me, even though I missed a week, kind of makes me think about the tribulation period, the week. Even though it's 5 days in school, you guys, for a week. But I had the knowing in the dream that I had missed a week. It makes me think about the tribulation period and how we're not going to be here. And also, I felt like this 9/11, even though this thing right here is the world's way. I looked it up last night. This represents the same thing as the phoenix. It represents it says the Ouroboros represents the perpetual cycle, renewal of life and infinity, the concept of eternity and the eternal return. This thing was dismissed as a factor for whatever move was supposed to be made or activator to move this 9 and 11. This Ouroboros was dismissed. Again, the Ouroboros represents the perpetual cycle renewal of life and infinity, the concept of eternity and eternal return, and represents the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, leading to the immortality as in the phoenix. I don't really trust too much of what they say. The website is called Crystal Links, but I think this was the first or second one that I found. So, Sherry seems to think that the two men may have been Jesus and the Father here. And whatever plot and scheme or next 9/11 attack that they have, I've always seen the 9/11 attack as some type of ritual because they did rebuild. And every year they have kids or a choir or something. They come and they form a circle at the site wherever they made the I don't know what they call it, the new Tower of Life. I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone who's lost family there at the at the 9/11 towers, but they do a little ritual circle thing there. If this was the Father and the Son, and they think that they have control of some type of new birth or new eternity, this also is seen in Gnosticism, also seen in Yin and Yang, in the Kundalini. Whatever this was, it got dismissed. I really feel like whatever plan that they have to create, to purposely destroy and rebuild up as their new rebirth, I feel like there's something greater, like the Great Tribulation. the tribulation period and the great tribulation, that the Lord is saying they might not even have time to conjure up anything. It's going to be like the next 9/11 for the, not just the U.S., but the world. And whatever they got in their idea of a rebirth, it's not going to fly. This paper flew from over here. It is just totally dismissed, you guys. And as I think about it, it is the same way. My job, they are reaching for stuff that they shouldn't be reaching for, trying to incorporate it as the new directors / managers. And the Lord already gave me a word for that. It was received. There was one more thing in here on this website. Something about ancient Egypt. Sorry, I know it's not focusing. Middle East. Well, we know what's going on over there. I think that's it, you guys. The dragon circling the tortoise, which appears. It's not focusing. I guess that's the Kundalini. Okay. It was a long article. The thing that I first read caught my attention. The tribulation period is going to be like, it's going to be greater than anything they can even conjure up to do. And God's going to be in control of it. That's the only thing I can, that really did make sense. If there's any, anything that comes up to the contrary, I'll definitely do a part 2 or a follow up to this video. But just found this very interesting. The two geniuses, the two smartest, the wisest. I knew that in the dream, even before I seen this little thing on Facebook. I had to know one. Wiser than what they can even conjure up. Okay, you guys, that's it. I'll talk with you later. And any insight, leave a comment.